Black nurses have overcome unimaginable challenges in the last 2 centuries, and in the process, they have changed healthcare for the better in countless ways. Today, we honor their immeasurable contributions and sacrifices as trailblazers, healers, and advocates.
Welcome to Black Excellist. This is where we celebrate Black excellence, achievement, and affluence. Our mission is to inspire you as we enlighten you.
Mary Ezra Mahoney is often recognized as the first Black nurse in the U.S. to earn a professional nursing license and graduate from an American nursing school. Born to formerly enslaved parents, she worked for 15 years at the New England Hospital for Women and Children as a janitor, cook, washerwoman, and nurse's aide. At age 33, she entered the hospital's nursing program and graduated 16 months later. As the first professionally trained and licensed Black nurse, Mahoney fought for equal opportunities in nursing education and against racial discrimination in the field. She also supported the creation of the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses in 1908, which worked to improve conditions for Black nurses. Mahoney's contributions helped pave the way for greater diversity and equity in the nursing profession. Abell Toms was a pioneering nurse and leader who became the assistant superintendent of nurses at Lincoln Hospital in New York in 1906. Despite serving as acting director for 18 years, her race prevented her from officially receiving the title. Toms co-founded the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses and served as its president from 1916 to 1923. She also successfully lobbied for Black nurses to serve in the American Red Cross Nursing Service and the Army Nurse Corps during World War I. In addition to her advocacy, Toms wrote Pathfinders, A History of the Progress of Colored Graduate Nurses, the first book chronicling the history of Black nurses in America. Her contributions were recognized when she became one of the first inductees into the American Nurses Association Hall of Fame in 1976. Mabel Keaton Stoppers was a trailblazing nurse and advocate for racial equality in healthcare. Born in Barbados and immigrated to the United States when she was just 13, she graduated from Freedman's Hospital School of Nursing in 1917 and quickly became a leader in the fight for racial integration in the nursing profession. As executive secretary of the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses from 1934 to 1946, Stoppers was instrumental in breaking down barriers. She led efforts during World War II to integrate the U.S. Army Nurse Corps, resulting in the admission of Black nurses to military service. Honored with numerous awards for advancing the rights of Black nurses, Stoppers wrote a book, No Time for Prejudice, recounting the many obstacles she overcame in her fight for equal recognition. Estelle Massie Osborne broke barriers for African American nurses, paving the way for them to access education and leadership opportunities in the profession. When she enrolled in nursing school in St. Louis, only 14 out of 1,300 nursing schools in the United States admitted Black students. Undeterred, Osborne earned a master's degree from Columbia University, becoming the first Black nurse to achieve this milestone. In 1946, she made history again as the first Black faculty member at New York University, serving as an assistant professor. Osborne held prominent leadership roles, including president of the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses and a member of the ANA Board of Directors. Dr. Mary Elizabeth Carnegie was a distinguished nurse who broke racial barriers and inspired generations of nurse leaders. From 1978 to 1979, she served as president of the American Academy of Nursing, which later honored her as a living legend in 1994, the profession's highest accolade. She also served as dean and professor at Florida A&M University's School of Nursing from 1945 to 1953. Dr. Carnegie authored The Path We Tread, Blacks in Nursing Worldwide, and contributed extensively to the field with 85 articles, chapters, and forewords in 20 books, as well as over 400 speeches. Hazel Johnson Brown joined the military in 1955, just 7 years after the integration of the United States Armed Forces. As she pursued her education, she rose through the ranks, becoming the director of the Walter Reed Army Institute of Nursing and earning the title of Army Nurse of the Year twice. In 1979, she made history as the first African-American woman to be promoted to brigadier general after being named the 16th Chief of the Army Nurse Corps. After retiring from the military, Johnson Brown transitioned to academia, where she served as a professor of nursing at both Georgetown University and George Mason University. Bernardine Lacy chose her nursing school because it was the only institution in her state that accepted Black students. Despite facing discrimination, including being forced to sit in the back row, she excelled academically and used those challenges to fuel her ambitions. Lacy became a trailblazer in nursing as an educator, political advocate, and researcher. She was one of the first Black nurses admitted to Georgetown University's nursing program and later served as the founding director of the Western Michigan University Bronson School of Nursing. In 2014, her extraordinary contributions were recognized when she was inducted as a living legend, the highest honor bestowed by the American Academy of Nursing. Dr. Katherine Alicia George is a distinguished educator, practitioner, and community activist with a career spanning over 3 decades. Recently retired as chairperson of the Department of Nursing at Lehman College, her mission has been to eliminate health disparities in underserved communities. Dr. George has served as the 5th president of the National Black Nurses Association and is currently president of the National Black Nurses Foundation. She earned her undergraduate degree from the Seton Hall University College of Nursing, her MA in nursing from New York University, and a doctoral degree in education leadership from the University of Vermont. Widely published and a sought-after speaker, Dr. George has also directed major initiatives, including a Kellogg Foundation grant addressing the nursing shortage. Honored with numerous awards, including the ANA Mary Mahoney Award, she remains a trailblazer in advancing equitable health care. Beverly Malone grew up in the segregated South, where she developed a passion for healthcare while working alongside her great-grandmother, a respected community healer. This early inspiration propelled her to a groundbreaking career in nursing leadership. Malone became the first African-American General Secretary of the Royal College of Nursing, served 2 terms as president of the American Nurses Association, and was appointed Deputy Assistant Secretary for Health in the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the highest government position held by a nurse at the time. Currently, as CEO of the National League for Nursing, Malone advocates for excellence in nursing education to strengthen and diversify the nursing workforce. As a past president of the American Nurses Association, Ernest Grant represented the interests of over 4 million registered nurses in the United States and championed diversity within the nursing profession. He made history as the first male to hold this office. Renowned internationally as a burn care and fire safety expert, he was honored with the Nurse of the Year Award in 2002 for his work treating burn victims from the 9/11 terrorist attack at the World Trade Center. A passionate advocate for diversity and equity in nursing, he has worked to address systemic issues and inspire change within the profession. Susie King Taylor worked as a volunteer for the Union Army during the American Civil War. She had many duties but was primarily responsible for nursing the sick and injured. Even with her own health at risk, Susie would sneak in quarantine tents and nurse men back to health from smallpox. Later in life, Susie wrote an autobiographical account of her experiences in the war titled "Reminiscences of My Life in Camp with the 33rd U.S. Colored Troops." This book was a reflection on her time there and the horrors she witnessed as a Black woman caring for Black soldiers who were giving their lives to the Union Army. Betty Smith Williams is a lifetime educator with over 50 years of teaching and research experience. She was the first African-American nurse hired as an educator in higher education in the state of California. Dr. Williams's roles extended beyond teaching and leadership in academia. She was also a co-founder and charter member of the National Black Nurses Association in 1971 and served as the organization's 7th president, working to provide avenues for Black nurses to improve the health care for African Americans. Dela H Rainey was a trailblazing nurse who graduated from the first nursing program designed specifically for Black nursing students, and during World War II, she became the first African American to be commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant in the Army Nurse Corps. In 1942, she was promoted to Principal Chief Nurse and 1st Lieutenant at the Tuskegee Army Airfield, and she would eventually rise to the rank of Major before retiring. To honor her legacy, the Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship Foundation and the National Black Nurses Association established the Dela H Rainey Nursing Scholarship in 2012, continuing her impact on the nursing profession and future generations. Martha Franklin was born in 1845 and was the first African-American nurse to become a member of the American Nurses Association. Franklin attended the Women's Hospital Training School for Nurses in Philadelphia and was the only African American in her 1897 graduating class. Franklin not only co-founded the National Association of Colored Graduate Nurses in 1908, but she also was installed as their first president. She worked as a nurse for over 40 years, and she was the first African American to be appointed superintendent of a hospital. Franklin was a strong advocate for racial equality, and her work helped open doors for African American nurses. Lawrence C. Washington's health career in the U.S. Army began in 1954 as a medical aidman with the rank of private. In 1967, he became the first male, black or white, to receive a regular commission in the U.S. Army Nurse Corps. By the end of his military career, Washington achieved several other firsts, including becoming the first male Army Nurse Corps officer to be promoted to the rank of colonel and was named Assistant Chief of the Department of Nursing. Washington's accolades include numerous prestigious military honors, such as the Legion of Merit, multiple meritorious service medals, the Order of Military Medical Merit, and various service ribbons and badges. After leaving military service, Washington continued his commitment to the nursing field through teaching at several universities.
We appreciate the fact that you stayed until the end. Thank you for spending time with us, and don't forget to like this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a video. Bye for now. We will see you tomorrow.
Like we're not going anywhere. Maybe it's because there's something